Broadcasting to the world, this is On Call with Chad McCall. In our show, we bring you inspiration, strategies, and insights on how to start, grow, and scale your business.
It's drastically changed my life.
The show is so informative. I just love it. It's honest. It's helped me grow as a person.
Real talk about life, lifestyle, society, and living limitless. Learning from the top influencers across the world, along with industry experts, authorities for you to live your greatest life. It's time to level up.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Here's your host, best-selling author and mentor, Chad McCall.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of On Call with Chad McCall. On today's podcast, I'll be calling a longtime friend of mine I've known for over 18 years, and he truly is one of the most interesting people in my circle of friends. He grew up with a speech impediment, voted most unlikely to succeed in high school, and went on to attend Vanderbilt University and Emory Law. He's a New York Times best-selling author of How Come That Idiot's Rich and I'm Not, originally from Nashville, Tennessee, just down the road from where I grew up in Western North Carolina. He's currently residing in Medellin, Colombia, and Miami, Florida. So I've had the pleasure of traveling with him across the world to work on some pretty amazing business opportunities, and I have seen how big this guy's heart truly is. He always makes time for his charities, and I had a chance to go see the work that they're doing. They take children off the streets to avoid human trafficking and drugs. So what I want to do is let's try to reach him today. Here we go. Hello, Siri.
Hello, Chad.
Would you give Robert Shemin a call?
Of course. I would love to call Robert Shemin.
Hello,
Roberto, this is Chad.
Chad McCall. How are you today?
Oh, I am great. I just want to let you know you are on call with Chad McCall on the podcast.
Uh-oh, Chad, good to hear from you, man. Always good to hear your voice. How you been?
Oh, I have been so good lately. But my question for you, Robert, is where are you? I mean, you're the international man of mystery traveling all over the world. Where are you today?
Well, I don't know, Chad. Let me look. As you know, I usually hit about 100 cities a year, about 20 countries. But I landed here in Medellin, Colombia, where I live part of the year, and they quarantined everybody, the whole country, during this virus thing. So I've been stuck in my house, my golden cage, no complaints, for about 24 days. We got about another 15 days to go. Can't go out, no guests. Can only go to the grocery store, have to wear a mask and gloves. Stuck in the house.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that you're stuck inside. Now, an entrepreneur like you, for the listeners here, you've retired multiple times and you travel the world everywhere. You're never really stopping. You're always going. What does this do to someone like you that's so busy, even retired life? You're really busy, Robert. Tell me how this quarantine affects someone that is as busy as you.
Well, thanks, Chad. And I know you're busy too, my friend. I've been trying to keep up with you for about 20 years. Well, so Chad, as you know, I'd usually do 100 conferences a year all over the world. I'm in Israel every 2 months, Russia, Africa. I have a full-time real estate business. I usually do 2 or 3 books a year. I think I flew 240,000 miles last year. I've got 6 million miles with American Airlines. I have enough free nights in Marriott I could stay there the rest of my life and probably not have to pay for another hotel room. And I went from going 200 miles an hour to 0.
I mean, mentally, that's just got to be a tough change.
That's right.
Always getting called to, come speak at this group or pretty big groups of like thousands, not like 100 people. You've spoken to the audience of like 55,000 people before, but what do you do when you're stuck and you can't go anywhere?
I had a plane ticket to go to Israel and do 14 speeches, trainings, conferences in 8 days. We go from 7 in the morning to 11 at night, no breaks. I love it. I love being busy. So let me tell you what happened. Like a lot of people, for the first day or 2 or 3, I mean, they're like, you can't go anywhere. You can't leave the house. And I'm here by myself. You can't have guests. And so I'm used to having breakfast meetings, lunch meetings, dinner meetings, phone calls, meetings, flying. And I'll tell you, man, for the first day or 2, I'm watching the news, and I'm like you're one of the most upbeat people I know. I'm starting to get a little down going, what am I going to do, man? I can't leave. And I, just like everybody, I had the moment of doubt, like what is going on? What's happening to my business? I got Airbnb, I got charities that I run here. I got flips and buying and fixing, selling and speeches and deals and commercial deals and financing. Like for a day or two, I'm kind of lost kilter. And then I just made a decision. Chad, everything's a decision. You can decide to be happy, decide to be bored. You can decide to be in good shape and bad shape. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use this time to do more of what I like to do. I like to pray in the morning. I like to study and learn new things. So I'm blocking an hour or two to study. I like to exercise. I'm exercising more. I like doing deals, Chad. We're entrepreneurs. I love putting deals together. I know you do too. Structuring them, finding them. That's the fun part. I don't like managing them so much. I don't like managing businesses. I have like 7 different businesses. And I literally, Chad, am doing more of everything. I'm literally talking on the Zoom, doing more speeches, more deals, more business, starting new business, starting a new book, starting more coaching. You've helped me with some of that, doing more things. And I'm so happy. And I'm literally busier than I was. I start like at 6 in the morning. I go to about 8 o'clock at night. And I still admit during this quarantine, like everybody, I do order a little food. I have watched a few Netflix and CSI episodes, but I'm more productive. I'm getting more done, more deals, more business, more coaching, more. I love helping people, doing more of it. And it's great. So I tell people, what makes you happy? Do more of it.
And some people don't realize if they haven't followed you or they may not know exactly your background. I gave you a little bit of a pep talk here before we got on the phone today, but not only being on Fox, CNN, one of the top rated speakers and trainers in the world, numerous books. I've had the pleasure of knowing you and you being one of my mentors for like 18 years. And it is awesome to say that I could pick up the phone and call you and get help from you at any time. But you're not just an entrepreneur. You've done so many amazing things for other people. And I want to let people know about your charity work and some of the things that you're doing. So real estate, you mentioned that, and business, you've done a lot of things. But when you started all of those businesses, you didn't forget to take time to give back. Talk about your transition to giving back, Robert, and how you help people.
Well, so, I always tell people, why do you want to start a business? Why do you want to write a book? Why do you want to do what you want to do? If you don't have a big why, everything will stop you. Now, as you know, when I got started in real estate, I just wanted a vacation. I had no money. I was broke, working 2 jobs, restaurants. I was like, man, if I could just like do one deal and get like a 4-day vacation. I never thought I'd make any money or have any success. And your motivation changes. And I'll tell you, Chad, I think life is made up of moments. You know what I mean? You've had to have some great moments or do different things. But about 10, 11, when was the last crash? 2008, 9? Was that when the big crash hit? I'm bad at time.
Yeah, 2008.
Well, my first mentor, right before the crash, very simple guy, never finished high school. He says, Bobby, he's like, I'm not a smart man. I'm like, yes, you are. Smart people never tell you they're smart, and the dumb ones always tell you how smart they are.
That's actually true, right?
And humility, a little humility. And he said, Bobby, I'm not a smart man, but I've been watching on the TV these waitresses in Vegas buying these $600,000 homes online at credits and home equity lines. And he goes, it's not sustainable. He goes, you've done well. And I said, well, thanks to you. And he said, I'd get rid of some of your portfolio. Just, you're done. You did well. And I sold about 75% of my portfolio about 6 months before the crash. Didn't hit it at the right second. And all of a sudden, I didn't have to work. The second time I retired. And I took my son and homeschooled him. I had a girlfriend. You met her. She was an actress. And we traveled around and went to beaches. That was our goal, to go to as many beaches as we could. Had a blast. Anyway, one day I had a pivotal moment. One of my mentors is a guy named Reb Chaim. I think you met him once or twice. We're sitting there talking. He was kind of like my spiritual business. He was a coach to like every great business leader. And he said, Robert, let me ask you a strange question. And at that time, I think Alexander was about 14, maybe 15. We were living in South Beach mainly and traveling. And he said, when your son goes to school and your son's friends ask him what your dad does, what do you think your son says? Pretty good question, huh, Chad? Because you have a young daughter, right?
Yep.
And I go, well, Chaim, I said, he's 15. God knows what he's going to say. You know what I mean? And he goes, what do you think he says? And I said, well, I guess Alexander would say that my dad has written books, speaks, did real estate, but he's kind of retired now. We go around to beaches, and still works and speaks a little bit. And he goes, how do you feel about that? I said, that's great. It's good. He goes, you should be very proud. Most people work so they can retire and spend time with their family. And then he looked me in the eye and said, what would you like your son to say? And I went, excuse me? And he goes, what would you like your loved one to say about what you do? And for the first time since I was like 11 and had a speech impediment, I had nothing to say. I never thought about it, what the real why is. And I go, I don't know. He goes, well, what do you do that really makes you feel good? And I want to ask that of every entrepreneur or business person listening. Everything we do, everyone we're around either makes us feel bad, good, or neutral. And he goes, what's something you've done the last couple of months that something really made you feel good? I said, well, besides sometimes my son, my son and I actually went down to a homeless shelter and I donated some money and we went down there and helped for like a day. And it felt pretty good. We fed some homeless people and, felt like I, didn't change the world, but whatever. He goes, well, why don't you go back to work and start taking the new money you make and donate to my friend's charity? Now, here's a weird thing, Chad. What religious leader, he's a religious leader, do you know? Yeah. And the thing was, I said, why don't you ask about your
That's a
charity?
good
Because I know you
point.
have a charity and I've donated to it.
No.
He goes, well, when you put other people first, he goes, your dreams and prayers come true at the speed of light. Now, back then I went, whatever, interesting. And anyway, he said, go back to work, take the new money you make from real estate, and you're going to do it to my friend's charity who buys defibrillators for poor people, and you're going to save people's lives. So the next time someone asks your son, what does your dad do? Your son is going to say, my dad and I save people's lives with these defibrillators. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, because I'm very realistic. I'm a skeptical businessman. And I said, my son's 15. He has other interests in foundations and philanthropy, And he said something else to me that changed my life. He goes, stop thinking for other people. Just ask. Don't assume what people want. He goes, you don't know what your son's going to say. Ask him. I went, I know what he's going to say. I know my son. You like cars and girls and music and iPads and sports and stuff like that. And I went, okay, I'll ask him. And I go, Alexander, this kooky religious leader friend of mine said, we should donate some charity and do this. And what do you think? He goes, Dad, I'm all in. I'll help you. I'll raise money. I'll work. I'll do whatever I can. I'll sell candy bars. I'll help you with the real estate. And I went, what? So we started the Alexander Shemin Foundation, and I went and did more deals and started buying these defibrillators, and we'd have lunch and dinner with all the people's lives, people that my son's defibrillator saved. My son was all into it at 15, 16. And here's a weird thing that Chaim said. He goes, when you go back to work part-time, we're going to track it. You can track your deals, Chad. You do so many calls, you get so many deals, you make X on a wholesale. He said, you're going to track it. You're not going to do anything different.
Sure.
And your income is going to go up 400% in 100 days. And I went, Chaim, that's impossible. I'm a businessman. Maybe the business goes up 10, 20, 30%. Maybe there's a different, number, or you're working on a bigger deal. That's impossible. He said, well, since it's impossible, would you make a bet since there's no risk? I said, sure. He goes, if you income goes up over 400% in the next 100 days, you'll donate another $20,000 from your old money to my friend's charity. And I went, no, Chaim, I'm donating the new money. I'm not touching my old money. That's what I live on. I'm cheap, like everybody. Hang on, And he goes, well, you said it's impossible, so what's the risk? So we made this bet, and I forgot about it. And I started doing some deals, and one went through, and I donated some money to the charity. And Chaim called me in like 30 days and goes, how's your business? And I said, we had a way to track it accounting wise. I said, Chaim, I told you it's about the same as when I did before. I made 12 grand on this deal and I donated 12 grand, but same as I make on the other deals, And he laughed at me. And 60 days later, he called and said, how's your business? I go, well, it's kind of weird. It's up like 80%. We must have did a bigger deal. We always look for excuses. We always look to verify what we really. And last part of this, I'm giving you a long answer, is he called about 90 days later. He said, how much is your income up? That's about 600%. And I was using the same script, same techniques, we teach, you taught, I've taught, you taught me, I've taught you, And I go, how can that be, Chaim? He goes, because when you're doing something you're excited about, a year or two ago, you weren't that excited. You had money, you have business. Whether you make an extra 10 grand or 100 grand is not going to change your life. But now all of a sudden, you and your son, you're helping people, you're reignited, you're passionate about what you do, and it's energy. And I want everyone to remember, when you're super excited about your business and, doing new deals. And, once you get successful or once you get in the groove, Chad, sometimes it's hard to get that motivation back. I was remotivated. So I want to challenge everybody. It doesn't have to be charity. What really motivates you to do what you want to do, click into that, and it changes over time. So I literally started donating like 30, 50% of my time and a lot of my money to these philanthropy things We help homeless kids here in Colombia. We teach them businesses. We have Student Financial League in America, where we teach kids the language of business. We've done 50,000 kids, mainly with Boys and Girls Club, and we're doing a book on that. And I'm more excited about that. I still love doing deals and making money, but that's what I get excited about. So whatever it is for you, you got to find what really gets you passionate. Most people are not passionate. Most people are comfortable. I was comfortable. I know you've been comfortable at certain times in your life. And we were about that the other day, Chad. Like, we're doing some new things and we're excited. It's like new, free, fun. You got to find that.
It does. It gets your energy fire. You get that fire back up because sometimes it can start to fizzle out. And, that's a great thing you just hit on right there, Robert. You talked about passion. And people that are listening to this right now, there's a lot of people that are going through tough times right now where they were passionate about something. The rug was pulled out from under them, maybe in the career, their occupation, or they've been an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. Now with things that we're facing in society and the economy right now, that's all been taken away and then put on a huge just hold right now. And some people are going to make it back from that. Some people's businesses will never come back, Robert. So how can they get that passion? Because I know you've started from scratch. You've got a great background story. I won't get into that yet. Maybe we'll talk about it later. But how can people get that passion again when they've put all their energy into something and they've built something, and then right now, out of their control, they're starting over?
Well, it's funny. I feel the same way. And by the way, as an entrepreneur, Chad, I don't know about you. I feel like I'm starting over every day, even when things are good. Because when you're an entrepreneur, there's no security. There's no you get a business going, and I mean, stuff you never see will come up. I never saw this virus thing. I never saw the crash in 2007, 8, being real estate in Vegas goes down 70%, 50% like a week. Oil goes from $100 and something a barrel down to 20 and 30 in the stock market, the virus. So, Chad, it's funny because I use this quarantine thing as a challenge. You have a adversity. You can either get upset and depressed, which we all have. You lose money, business goes down to zero. And I said, you know what? I'm going to look at this as a challenge. What can I do? What can I control? Well, I can still talk to people. I can still get on the internet. I can still do deals. It's going to be different. It's not going to be as easy. It's going to be different. I can still do a conference instead of flying to Israel, or I was supposed to do one in Vegas and Minneapolis. We did one digitally. How can I turn my business into a virtual business? I mean, everyone's got skills and hobbies. You just got to find, either everyone's motivated by certain things. And Chad, I'd like to ask you this. I know what motivates me when someone says you can't do something. Just pisses me off and I get fired up.
Yeah. Well, I'm a competitive person by nature. Just no matter what, I'm amped. Let's do it.
Yeah, you were a tennis player, and it's like, hey man, I'm gonna try to beat this person or do my better. You're really competing with yourself, right?
Right.
Now, if you're not competitive, what motivates you? Well, if you want to help people, make more money so you can help more people. It takes money to help people, or time. So everyone's got to dig down deep and ask yourself, or ask three people that know you well, what motivates you? And by the way, you can't teach it. You can't, Chad, how many times have you and I try to motivate a student who's not motivated? It's so frustrating, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't do it. I mean, it's, you end up doing something for them and then that misses the whole point of what
and,
you
be
tried.
realistic is like some people say, I don't want to do anything. Like, I really respect my son. He's doing very well. And he's like, Dad, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to own a bunch of business, work a lot. He goes, I'm going to make money, do my thing, be my own boss. But I just want this. And I'm super happy with this. So that's the most important thing, is know what you want, know what you like, know what you don't like. And the other thing I'll say this, Chad, is I know when I was around a bunch of beer drinkers, when I was like, just for example, like 16 to 21, I drank a lot of beer, and we didn't do anything. We were stupid. And you got to be around people that challenge you, push you. And now I'm around these amazing people, where they're entertainers, coaches, mentors, billionaires. And all of a sudden your mind, my mother was right. I know you had a great mom. My mother always used to say, birds of a feather flock together, right?
Oh yeah. That's our Southern saying that we grew up by.
Yeah. So if you're around a lot around, which I've been in my life, there's no judgment. I'm still friends with all my old friends from junior high. I just talked to some yesterday. If you're around a lot of not motivated people, you'll probably become not motivated. So you got to be really careful who you're around. Like, Chad, I'm around you and I learned like some cool new way to do some tax lien deal or some weird real estate thing. And I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to try that. But if I went around someone like you, I'd never know that was a possibility. One of my good friends, I have a secret girlfriend. I can't mention her name. She's a very famous musician. And she's like, she works all the time. She makes me and you look lazy. She's like, she works like, till 2 a.m. and then gets up at 6 and exercises and does her music. And I'm like, and then I'll work like 14 hours a day. And she'll be like, don't you have something else to do? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. She goes, no, successful people do it now. And, she's motivated me to eat better and be healthy and work more. So that's a big one. Who are you around? And I'm not telling you to lose your friends or get a divorce. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying be around really motivated people, and not necessarily just money motivation, just like doing things. That's what we're here for. We're here to do things. Learn, be, enjoy. You're competing with yourself, but that's the thing. And just one more example, Chad. About 5 months ago, before this whole virus thing, I took my girlfriend to one of the best beaches in the world and go, you know what? I don't need to work anymore. The real estate, this and that, had some big deals close. And, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to hang out with my girlfriend and go to the beach, and just not work. And man, after this, and everybody's different. After the second day, and I'm not complaining, we're at a beautiful resort and a beautiful beach in San Andres, Colombia. And they call it the honeymoon island. I was bored out of my mind. Yeah, I was reading books and doing stuff. You got to have a challenge, and everybody, you got to find out what it is. And what's the next challenge? Because you'll meet some of your goals, and that's one of the worst things. Because then what's your next goal?
Well, and it's also, you miss that seeking of opportunities, because when you start doing well, you start opportunities come your way. It's almost like the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah,
We
Chad,
always
you've
hear
heard
that,
of
don't we?
overdose, OD, right? I invented a new term,
Yeah.
I think, called OO, over opportunity. That's another challenge. Well, I'm going to do real estate. I'm going to start an online business. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to go speak. I'm going to invest in Bitcoin. I'm going to do gold. I'm going to do the next shiny thing. And when you're right, when you start being successful, you'll have too many opportunities. There's so many opportunities out there. Even right now, distressed property, masks, healthcare, just helping people out. And you got to focus. And we all need somebody to help us focus.
With a beginner entrepreneur, somebody that's been sitting on the fence, Robert, that's looking to get started right now, this was their year. 2020, they had their New Year's resolutions ready to go. They were just now getting ready to get started, and then they get kicked right in the stomach with this virus. What advice would you give to that solopreneur, that entrepreneur that's got to get back up from this? Let's be honest, you have literally advised tens of thousands of people how to start a business. This is something where people really need your expertise to find out how to find themselves after this, because they just started. They've probably been waiting 10 years to get started, or some are young and they may never want to start something again after something like this happens. But what advice could you really give them to do something?
It's a great question. And I could, you and I could spend 4 days talking on this. I'm going to do it in like 2.2 minutes and hopefully really help somebody. But the first thing is, you mentioned it, and I felt it. I mean, I don't want to feel sorry for me, but getting kicked down, I mean, I have an Airbnb business. We had 100% cancellation in like a day, 4 months of contracts canceled. Real estate, I got people calling saying, I ain't paying the rent in April. I had 30 speeches canceled, 14 trips, boom. Now, again, I'm not asking them to feel sorry for them, but I understand when like your whole world changes, you're going 100 miles an hour, you have all this business, and then the whole world's upside down, and it's discerning. So I don't want to make any light of that, whatever it's a virus or a crash or you hadn't started yet. But I want to quote a good friend of mine, Brian Siegel. He was a LA cop, and he got into real estate. He's done like, 100 of deals, He said people sitting on the fence, and I'm going to copy this from him. He goes, when you're sitting on the fence thinking, well, should I move forward or not? Or what do I do? I'm just going to wait. He said, the only thing you get are splinters. Remember sitting on those wood fences when you're little? Yeah. You're not in the next part. You're not where you were. You're just on this board getting splinters in your behind. It's the worst place to be. We've all been there. Relationship. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I start? Should I finish? Business. Let me, I can't decide. It's called purgatory. It's worse than hell, I think. So the first thing is make a decision. And that decision can be, I'm not going to decide now. I'll decide 2 weeks from Tuesday to start. I've done that with exercise programs. But at least it's a decision. That's not a good one either. The next one is, I'm going to not do it. Okay, just be honest. And don't come up with the excuses. Well, the economy's bad. My mom said I should. The interest rates are bad. The president's bad. The president's good. Just say it's not a priority. That's a difference. It's not that you will do it or won't do it, because everything you make a priority, you do. Hopefully this morning you brushed your teeth. Why? Because it's a priority. You didn't say, well, gee, I'm really busy. I'm not going to brush my teeth today. Correct? Or I'm not going to feed my kid. I'm busy.
Yeah.
The economy's bad. I'll just put it off.
Right.
The next thing is just get started, because the more you think about it, I tell everybody, every time I think, I get in trouble. You know what I mean? I overthink things, overanalyze. And if you're going to start a business, don't overload yourself. Here's the question you'd ask: how can I get my first customer? How can I get my first sale? Let me try it. And if I like it, I'll do it again. And if you're going to learn, until you do it, you will never learn. And you're going to learn. Do your first real estate deal if you want to do real estate. That's all you have to do. You don't have to start this giant business. You don't have to change your life. Being on the fence is the worst place to be. Make a decision and stick to it. And look at your own patterns. I had to look at mine. Well, why don't I finish things? Why don't I stick to things? Why do I plan, 40 things, and not finish them? What's this pattern I have? And the only way to break it is with action. Chad, I know you work out. I work out, 6 days a week. And most days I'm laying in bed going, you know what? I'm going to skip today. You ever done that?
So easy just to stay in bed, right? Just so easy.
I'm tired. I'm so comfortable. I really don't need to work out. I'll do it tomorrow. And I'm sitting there for 20 minutes about to blow it off. And then either my trainer calls or I'll go to the gym. And within 2 minutes of starting, whether I'm doing a Stairmaster, weights, or running, or whatever you're doing, I feel better. And I was thinking about it for 20 minutes. Get started. Break the activities down. Get your first customer. Get a sale. How's that?
That's a great way to think about it. So I hope that helps anyone that's sitting on the fence or been kicked down, or, you got started. Now you got a little cold feet. Don't worry about it. Do what you've been doing. Get back into it, and, get in the water. I mean, that's what I always want to say. Just step in the water and stay in there for a minute. It's not going to be that cold.
If I wait, Chad, this is a really weird way to look at it, but you've been successful, and I've been successful in certain areas, and I look for challenges. When everything's easy, you don't learn anything. And I know all the lessons I've learned in real estate, business, life, relationships. I mean, I know some of the stuff you've been through, man. Broken bones and hospitals and, family this. I'm the same way. Man, I'm looking for challenges. The worst thing is have everything easy. And so that thing you hate now, the challenge, oh man, the economy changed, the banks aren't loaning, everything's virtual, whatever. Well, that's where you shine. Heroes are not made because they're heroes. Heroes rise up to a challenge. If there's no challenge, you never have a hero.
And with a shift in the market, that's when I give advice to people, say that's when fortunes are made, Robert. And when there's an incline, that's a growth sign. But when the market really shifts like it has right now, that's when a fortune can be made, and opportunities right there in front of your face for you to just
absolutely
be ready. This can set you up for the years to come, what you do right now.
Right now. And you know what? That's so true, Chad. And it's so funny. I've said this because I've been interviewed about this crisis thing. The doers are doing, and the worriers are worrying more. The doers are like, okay, I'm positioning myself for the next 100 days, man. I'm going to get some of these opportunities. These people, motivated sellers, the market shifted. That's opportunity. When it's going at full steam and everyone's out there buying and throwing money around, it's hard. It's hard to find good deals, good opportunities. Yeah. And I think, Chad, I'll say this, and think about what we've been through. This is a big one, man. This is unprecedented what's going on right now. Please don't change my words. Well, Robert said everything's great. And, I didn't say that. I'm like, man, my Airbnb business wiped out. My business completely changed.
I won't edit what you say. I promise I won't edit.
Yeah, this is unprecedented. I had people do, well, Robert said everything's great, man. I didn't say that. This is unprecedented. Well, so was the crash in 2007-8. And you remember, I didn't do real estate for a year or two. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Everyone's selling houses, and you can buy a house cheaper than what you can build it for, and the land's free and it rents for this. Like, that makes no sense. I'm going to start buying again. Here's the thing. This is a crisis right now, and every year, 2 or 3, we have a great crisis. Would you agree? Personal, professional.
We do. Everyone goes through a crisis.
Since the first day I started business, Everyone's like going, oh, the economy's bad. We're stagflation, 9/11, there's the war, there's the president, there's the economy, there's the bank crisis, there's the dot-com crisis, there's this crisis, there's Ebola, there's swine flu, there's Europe, there's something, the Middle East, the oil thing. It's always something. The only thing you control about it is how do you react. And all the doers keep doing, and all the worriers keep worrying.
Great way to put it.
So the question is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do today? Today's a new day, new economy. Correct. Everything always changes. The only thing you can do is how do you react to it? And until you get the inner voice, the mental reactive mind under control, you really can't do anything.
Well, good. I want to switch to, I want to talk about something fun now. How about that, Robert? Something fun. We're going to get away from that and we're going to go into something that I think is fun. I think it's really cool. And I don't think many people would even be able to find this out about you, Robert, unless they were on this podcast right now.
Uh-oh, you know my secrets. Oh, God.
So tell me a little bit about, or the listeners also, you used to be a hostage negotiator. You are one of the best negotiators in business and everything else. And tell me a little bit the backstory of how that came about. I know it, but the listeners, I think they're going to just be amazed by what you're going to
What's really interesting, Chad, is I'm under an agreement. I'm not supposed to talk to the press about it for 10 years. I've got 2 or 3 years left. So you're not the press, are you?
Nope, I'm not the press.
So I think I can talk about it. So my life, I tell people, is a series in quotation marks of accidents. And I'll give you the 1-minute story. There's no reason you or I should be on a podcast or be successful. I know your background. A lot of people don't know this. I didn't go to school when I was little. I had messed up legs and a speech impediment. I couldn't talk. I might have been while I talk about that. So I didn't go to school until I was like 10, and then I got my braces off my legs, and I had a speech therapist spend a year with me, and she taught me how to speak. My family was kind of regretting it. Anyway, giving you a long story here. And then my parents thought, well, now he's speaking, and he's walking a bit, and he's at school, and things are gonna be great now. Well, I pretty much flunked every class. I had dyslexia. I didn't know it until I was 18, so I just never graduated high school. I did go to university, and after flunking out of high school, it's kind of weird. I got a doctor's letter. And make a long story short, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. Now, back when I was growing up, there was I transferred to Vanderbilt from UT, which is kind of impossible. It's a whole other story. And you have to take a language. So I picked Spanish. And my family's like, Robert, that's the stupidest thing we ever heard. Why would you learn Spanish? No one in Nashville speaks Spanish. What a waste of time. So I took a Spanish class and I got a 0 because they put me in the wrong class. It was like Spanish 10,000. So to this day, a lady wrote a letter for me saying the only way to learn Spanish is to go to a country that speaks Spanish. So I went to Vanderbilt in Spain, and I shouldn't have been there. I didn't have the background. It was all in Spanish, and I learned Spanish. I went to school in Spain for 6 months. Then I eventually went to law school at Emory on a scholarship, and we had a world-renowned professor, and he learned how to speak Spanish. So one day he says, hey, we're having this big international conference because President Carter was a professor there. And you're going to translate. And I said, buddy, I got a date Friday night with my girlfriend. I could care less about your silly conference. And he goes, I'm going to flunk you. And I think you're violating my human rights. He was the top human rights professor in the world. He was a visiting professor. Nice guy. Tom Bergenthal became one of my mentors. And he goes, pick this diplomat up at the airport, drive around and translate for it English, Spanish. And you have to do this. I'm like, oh, man, what a waste of a weekend. And I went and picked this woman up. And she invited me because she liked me, just had nothing to do with my background. We just hit it off. She invited me to become a clerk at the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, Inter-American Institute of Human Rights in Costa Rica. So I was actually a diplomat after I graduated law school for a year. Has nothing to do with anything. I went to Costa Rica, fell in love with it. And by doing that and meeting certain people, I did consulting jobs for them while I was building my real estate, which a lot of people don't know about. You do, and you're not supposed to talk about it, but we are. And anyway, after a while, I went down to Cuba and got people out of jail for human rights. That was kind of fun. And then one day, somebody asked me, they go, you're a good negotiator. I said, yeah. They go, well, you're going to go to Colombia and help negotiate some kidnap stuff. And I went, first of all, I'm not going to Colombia at that time. I don't want to die. And second of all, what are you talking about? I've never done that kind of work. And they convinced me, talked me into it. And so I became a negotiator. And with very little training or background, and unfortunately I had some success because, negotiation. That's what I did for many years. I've been all over the places you're not supposed to be in Colombia and South America. And we helped get quite a few people out from kidnapping. and I fell in love with Colombia. So the point is, you never know. You learn skills one place, and all of a sudden it takes you on a road, but you got to get started. If I would have never learned that Spanish or never gotten a doctor's letters, I could go to college after flunking out of high school, I would have never had all these great experiences. And there were some wild experiences.
What's cool about that story is that's just the path of opportunities. We mentioned that, like, more opportunities that come your way, being able to capitalize on opportunities. And then look, it's just carried your whole life. And some people say the harder I work, the luckier I get. I don't think, I think it comes with the territory. When you put yourself in the right position, things just come your way.
And it's being open, okay, I'll try this. I don't know if I can, but why not? And life's a series of experiences and adventures. What's really interesting is, it's funny, I got trained after I started. And that's the other thing. You don't learn it till you start doing it. The only way to learn is to do. Make sense? And it changed my life, because after I got into it, I got all kinds of training. I can't mention all the names of different groups of organizations that trained us: body language, energy work, numerology, body language, NLP. I now teach neurolinguistic programming. And that stuff, I know it sounds crazy, but it's helped me more in business, relationships. Everything's communication. I didn't know how to do that before. I learned kind of on the job. You learn what motivates you. Now, here's something really interesting, Chad, because you're talking about motivation. You ready for this? This will blow people's minds. One time I asked my mentor, I said, who are some of the most successful people in the world, that you can learn from? He said, that's easy. Criminals. And I go, now think about it. Now, I'm not saying criminals are good people and they're doing good things. That's not what I'm saying. I said, what do you mean by that? And I didn't understand it until actually, because you got to realize I was working with some real terrorists, people that are doing really nasty things: drug dealers, kidnapping, murder, extortion.
Wow.
Really dangerous people that some people might think they're dangerous. Here's the point. When you and I, or someone listening to this, wants to start a business, they never have 100% certainty. They're like, oh my God, the economy's bad right now. The taxes are high, and the market is competitive. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm 80% sure I can do it, but they're never 100% sure. He said, and I believe this after my experiences, criminals are 100% certain.
Yeah.
Or they would never do a crime.
They're confident.
Right? Look at bank robbers. 99% of bank robbers get caught. I mean, it's the stupidest crime you can do. The FBI gets you like in 4 hours, right? They would never do it if they're like, I think there's about a 10% chance I'm going to get caught. They have 100% certainty. Imagine if you and I had that certainty in business. I'm 100% sure my business is going to go. I'm going to get that deal. And I'm telling you, we got interviewed a lot. What's the number one reason you're successful at this really tricky business that you mentioned? And we tell people, we would not do it unless we were 100% certain we're going to have 100% success. If you had 1% doubt or emotion, you could not do it. Think about that. And that changed my life, because, even a little deal, you got to get amped up, prepare yourself. Well, I'm going to talk to this seller and maybe I'll get this deal. I'm going to talk to this investor, maybe they'll put the money up. No, I'm getting the money. I'm getting the deal. I'm getting the business. I'm 100% certain, as certain of those bank robbers and drug dealers. And I'm not saying, don't do their business. And by the way, they know their business, how it ends up. They all either end up dead or in jail. Yeah. 100%. They know that, but they don't pay attention to it. And what do we pay attention to? Oh, she might say no. She doesn't like me. Maybe I left something out of my business proposal. And if you can get that certainty, and here's what I say, whatever you're doing is, if you don't quit, you will be successful. Think about that. Why are most people not successful? And all the students you've seen, they do it for 3 months and they quit.
Yeah, of course.
Or they only make 4 offers, or talk to 10 investors where they, everyone I know, they're like, I'm going to go talk to 100 investors, and 98 of them say, no, that's the stupidest business plan. Waze, Microsoft, Facebook, that's a bunch of junk. Correct? Who'd ever invest in that junk? Or Bitcoin? And then on the 98th or 115th person they talk to, like, yeah, let's get started. And now they're all bazillionaires. I tell people, if you say, I'm going to do real estate, or I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to learn to play Stairway to Heaven on the guitar. I'm from Nashville and I can't play squat. But if I say, you know what, I'm going to take lessons until I can play Stairway to Heaven on the guitar. I don't care if it takes me 6 months or 6 years. I'm going to do it. I'll practice an hour a day until I can play it. I'm going to play it, right? Just don't quit.
Well, Robert, you're busy. I know I don't want to keep you forever here. I didn't plan on calling you, us talking this long. It was supposed to be a lot shorter than that, but it's always fun to talk to you and having you as a friend. And I really appreciate you taking the time out today to chat with us.
Well, Chad, I will say something, because I know you're busy too. All the super busy people I know always have time. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
And all the people that really aren't busy are like, no, man, I can't squeeze that in. I'm sorry. And, I'm busy, but that's the thing is time is another thing you got to get control of. And y'all's got time for good people, good things. We all have the same 24 hours a day. And I feel like I have a lot of time, and I appreciate everyone taking their time to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, I'm going to have you back, that's for sure, because there's so many more things that I know that I'm going to get you to talk about. But before I let you go, I've got to finish with my top 3 questions. So,
Okay. Uh-oh.
yep, here we go. Number 1, is it true? I heard a rumor that you have the house in Colombia that was owned by someone that's pretty famous.
Yes, I'm actually there right now, quarantined. I got a Pablo Escobar's old house, huge. The style is not called Art Deco; it's called Narco Deco. Jacuzzis, marble. It's a 12,000 square feet. He had a pool in every apartment. So I'm in a building with 4 units, 4 apartments, and it's 8 stories, and each apartment has its own pool because Pablo and his buddies did not like to go to the next apartment to go swimming. That's inconvenient. So I got like a almost Olympic size or pretty good size pools in my living room.
Yeah, it's awesome. So everyone, you have to check out Robert's place. You got to follow him. And next question. Next one is, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, that's easy. Citizen Kane, Orson Welles, old black and white, and to me, it's the American story. It always gets ranked one of the top 10 movies by every movie thing, but it's about business, entrepreneurship, money, wealth, greed, craziness. Have you ever seen it? Orson Welles' old black and white movie.
Oh, yes, a long time ago. I actually watched it in college, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I really recommend people watch it. It's just, I've seen it 10 times. And the next movie, I love the Godfather movie.
Oh, classics. Oh, of course. All the Godfathers are great.
Best business lessons. I mean, not people don't think, please don't think I'm a criminal, man. I'm talking about drug dealers and terrorists and Pablo Escobar. Got to stay legal.
Hostage negotiation.
Yeah,
I mean,
my favorite line in there is when the guy says, "I'm not going to help you and your Guido Italian Godfather get this movie part for the guy," and he goes, "Can I have a phone?" He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because my boss insists on hearing good news quickly and bad news even quicker." That's something I've lived by with investors. When you have a problem, call them first. And man, you got to give the good news, the bad news even quicker. Mm-hmm. Communication, relationship.
That's a good point. That's something everyone should, that's a little nugget right there that I think everybody should pay attention to for sure. All right. Last one. What song is on your playlist playing right now if you were to look down at your phone?
That is so easy because I go walking up these stairs in my little quarantine complex every day. And I'm listening to the same, I got the same 30 songs. So right here, it's Man on the Moon by REM about Andy Kaufman and the wrestler, Jerry Lawler. Remember all that?
Yep.
And I got some Shakira on there, some Bruce Springsteen. I like good old rock and roll, man.
Well, Robert, I just want to say thanks for taking the time. I hope everyone enjoyed the call as much as I did. And for information on how to connect with Robert and the amazing things he's doing to help entrepreneurs all over the world, go to www.robertshemin.com. He has one of the most amazing communities of entrepreneurs and investors, and he calls it Project X. So make sure you check it out. And once again, you're always on call with Chad McCall.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, friends, you are always on call.